Nick Ball will defend his WBA Featherweight World Championship in his hometown, place of birth in Liverpool over in the UK against Brandon Figueroa, himself a former unified 122-pound world champion. Both fighters recently very active. Nick Ball, fighting twice in 2025, had a knockout win over TJ Doheny, and in August beat Sam Goodman in a fight that I had 8-4 for Nick Ball. Pretty decent performance for Nick Ball there. A lot of people thought the bigger man would win, the longer man would win. And listen, height is always going to be something that we talk about when we talk about Nick Ball fights. He stands at 5'1" by some metrics, 5'2" by others, depending on your source. And Brandon Figueroa is standing in upwards of 5'8", even 5'9", depending on where you get his height from. So we're talking about a 7-inch height advantage, and that is something that must be discussed. Now, most bookies out there have Nick Ball a 3.5-1 underdog, even though he is the champion. Nick Ball currently rated 3 by Ring Magazine. Figueroa coming in at number 7. Figueroa is also ranked number 1 by the WBA and number 1 by the WBO. So this is going to be a contest between two guys fighting at the highest level of that division. Now, one thing I will say about Figueroa, let's go ahead and review his previous fights. He has a record of 26 wins, 19 knockouts with 2 losses. Both his losses have come to Steve Fulton. So other than Steve Fulton, Brandon Figueroa is undefeated. His most recent win was in July of 2025 on the undercard of the Manny Pacquiao-Mario Barrios fight at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. He would win a unanimous decision against Joet Gonzalez. Prior to that, he lost his rematch to Steve Fulton for the WBC Featherweight Championship. That was a pretty easy fight to score. Fulton clearly won it in the 8-4, 9-3 range. Before that, he fought in 2024, beating Jesse Magdaleno, knocking him out in the 9th round. That was for the interim title. And he goes all the way back to 2021 when he lost his first fight. A closer fight to Steve Fulton. Probably his biggest win before that was against Louis Neary for the WBC Super Bantamweight World Championship. That's 122 pounds. That was a knockout victory in the 7th. One of the things about that I love about this fight is that both of these guys throw a lot of punches. This is not going to be some sort of, pot shot from range, Shakur Stevenson type performance. Not that Shakur's boring. His last fight I actually said wasn't boring, but we'll leave that there. What I'm saying is that I think this fight could potentially contend for Fight of the Year. I don't think it will win it, but it will be in the also mentioned list as we close out 2026 in 10 or so months. Good Lord. Anyway, Brandon Figueroa is taller, and that is something that we have to talk about when we handicap a fight like this. He's 7 inches taller. He's 5'9". Ball, again, is listed at 5'2". Some have him at 5'1" even. But Brandon Figueroa doesn't fight like a tall fighter. He doesn't stand out there like Lennox Lewis or, Vitaly Klitschko or Tommy Hearns and fight from range. He does like phone booth fights. He puts his head on the other guy's head and exchanges on the inside. It's sort of like Vasily Girov used to do, former cruiserweight world champion. So why does that matter? That means if Figueroa fights that way, if he doesn't fight like a tall fighter, Ball is going to be in range to land punches, and I think they're going to exchange a lot on the inside. The question is going to be who gets the better of it, and I think it's pretty clear given the fighter resumes, the size. I think Figueroa gets the better of Sam Ball in this fight. Now, there could be some home cooking in Liverpool with the British Board of Boxing Control favoring the British fighter in the scoring. We've seen that happen before. I don't need to go down that road. But Figueroa he just his stamina is outstanding, and he has a real sort of Energizer Bunny method to fighting. And I don't think, even though Nick Ball can throw a lot of punches himself, I don't think he's going to be able to keep pace. And I do think there is a power disparity. That being said, I don't think Figueroa gets the knockout. I do think we get all the way to a decision, and that's going to be my pick. I picked Brandon Figueroa by unanimous decision to upset Nick Ball. Well, it wouldn't be an upset because of the odds, but to take his title in his hometown and win the WBA strap. Let me know what you think in the comments. Very interested to hear from my British fans out there. What do you think? Can Nick Ball sort of hold off the onslaught that he's about to be involved in? Let me know what you think. I'll see you on the next one.